Hello and welcome here to Talking SCB, and welcome back here guys to another video today, and we're going to be taking a look at probably what is our first summer transfer signing, and that is Denis Suárez. He will be returning to the club this season. We've been expecting this for some time. He's had a really impressive season at Villarreal, and now we have taken the chance. We are going to repurchase him. It's going to be for around 3.2 million euros. What a bargain that is. It's all been a bit complicated since he left us. Of course, we signed him from Manchester City. He started his youth career at Celta Vigo. We signed him from Man City. He never really failed. He failed to get into the sort of first team picture there. We signed him for about just under 1 million euros. Incredible deal there. That could rise to about 2 million depending on add-ons and things. But again, a really good deal. He then went to Barcelona B, made about 36 appearances in the league, scoring a few goals. He did really well there when Barca B finished in third. And then he went on loan to Sevilla with Unai Emery. He played a lot in the cup competitions there, wasn't always a regular, didn't always get game time. So then we decided to sell him on, or Sevilla decided to sell him on. It was all quite complicated. Either way, Villarreal ended up with Denis Suárez permanently, but there was always a clause in the contract allowing us, at the time was right, we would sign him back, and we are going to do that for 3.2 million euros. A fantastic deal for us. It's worked out really well. We sent him out on loan. He got some experience at Sevilla. I think he learned a lot from Unai Emery, and now he's gone to Villarreal and he's taken his career to the next step. And certainly since Barcelona B, he's come a long way. He's developed a lot, and I believe he is certainly ready now. As the clips you're about to see, he's certainly ready to return to the club. So let's have a look at his season in a bit more detail at Villarreal. Like I say, you've got the clips going on in the background there. Some really impressive footage from Denis Suárez. Of course, these are highlights, but he's been a very good and consistent season from Denis Suárez. It took a while for him to sort of get into the Villarreal team consistently. Marcelino didn't really opt for him at the start of the season, but he really found a role on that left-hand side of Villarreal's team. They've had an excellent season this season. Villarreal, they're going to finish in 4th place. They're going to qualify for the Champions League. They've got to the semi-final of the Europa League. Very close to reaching the final, and Denis Suárez has been a really key part of that, and he's found a home on the left-hand side of midfield. They play quite a narrow midfield, a lot like Atletico Madrid do, but Denis Suárez gives them some width, and he gives them some flair, and he's been really impressive in both the league and the cup competitions this season. In La Liga, he's made 25 starts, he's scored 4 goals and assisted 4 times as well, but it's in the Europa League where he's really done his damage, and he's not only done the damage in the Europa League, but he's done it against really good teams. Some standout performances against the likes of Napoli. He played really well in the first leg of the Europa League semi-final against Liverpool. He scored 1 goal in the Europa League. That was a brilliant free kick which took Villarreal through against Napoli, but he's got 7 assists in the Europa League, the most out of any player in this year's competition, and he's been really impressive. And what I like about Denis Suárez is he's adapted his game. He's had the ability to learn. He went to Sevilla under Unai Emery, who's a very strict coach. And there was 2 players who went there from Barcelona. There was Deulofeu and there was Denis Suárez. Denis Suárez wanted to learn. He took on board what Unai Emery said. He played in a number of positions there. He wasn't always in the lineup, but he never gave up. He didn't have a strop. He didn't let his head go down. He worked with what Unai Emery said, and he developed his game at Sevilla. Although it wasn't the most productive move for him in his career, he still would have learnt a lot, which has certainly stood him in good stead when he went then to Villarreal, because he was playing on the wing. And not only is he fantastic going forward, but certainly this season and following on from his year at Sevilla, you've seen that his defensive side of the game, he's worked on it. Not only, the tracking back and the tackling, but the work rate. He works really hard for the team. That's what he's got instilled into him, and that'll certainly stand him in good stead for when he comes back to us, because that's what it's all about. Getting in those positions, working hard for your teammates, covering everyone, knowing your position. And like I say, Deulofeu went to Sevilla and he didn't get a lot out of it at all because he didn't really want to. Denis Suárez was different. He went there, he used his skills. Unai Emery developed him as a player, and now he's had his breakthrough season under Marcelino, and he's been excellent. So look at some of these clips really. I think what I really like about Denis Suárez is he's quite adaptable. Like I say, he adapts to his different positions, but what he can do for us, he's going to give us some really good options. He's going to give us an option in midfield if we want to play with an attacking midfielder. Somebody like Rafinha, Andres Iniesta, they both like to play in the attacking midfield position, and Denis Suárez is the same. However, if we need somebody then to come in a wider role in the front 3 to step in for Messi, Suárez, Neymar, Denis Suárez can also give us that option. And what I really think is important next season is that we have cover in a number of positions, and certainly players that can play in more than one role well are massive massive additions to your squad, because you need cover. We've seen this season that is a long season. Players can get injured, players can get suspended, and you need these types of players in your team who give you options, who can give the coach options. And having Denis Suárez on the bench next season, where no doubt he'll start, there's no saying he's going to walk into our team, but he's going to give us depth. And at 22 years old, his career is still young, he's still learning about the game, and like I say, I think he's followed a really, really good path to getting back here. He didn't just expect everything to be handed to him at Barcelona B, he went out on loan, he learnt about the game, he developed himself, and I think that's certainly worked, not only physically, but he's also developed mentally. He's become a stronger player, a more, driven player. He's gone to different La Liga clubs, and he now knows La Liga, and he's an experienced player. That's important as well. It's not like we're buying somebody from abroad who's coming into the league who's got to adapt. Denis Suárez knows the league well, and he's also made a number of regular appearances for the Spanish under-21 team, and I would say personally that he's not a million miles off making an appearance for the Spanish, international, the A team. So it's going to be really interesting to see what happens with Denis Suárez next season, how much game time he'll actually get. I hope we play him, I hope we continue to use him and develop him, but I think he certainly gives us options, because he's not only a player who's very, very quick, he shows a lot of energy, he's a flair player, he's creative, but also his final pass is really, really good. He's good in the final third, he has an excellent first touch. Just take a look at the goal we've got coming up from in the Europa League, Adrian against Liverpool. The first touch of Denis Suárez is what makes that goal. It's a fantastic ball over the top from Bruno, but it's a brilliant, brilliant touch from Denis Suárez that gets it out of his feet, and then he's unselfish to play it in. And it is really important as well this season that he's got a number of assists. He is unselfish. He's a player that would rather create a goal than score one, and that's important for Barca. You know that when you come to Barcelona, there are going to be bigger players around you, there are going to be better players around you, and your job there is to assist them, to help them to become the player they are. Denis Suárez certainly fits that profile, and I just think it's really important that we've got a player coming back who is Spanish, who understands the league, who understands Barca. He was at Barcelona B, he gets the system. Luis Enrique certainly likes him, he requested the signing, and not only that, once again, like we said before, it's very, very good economically. 3.2 million euros is fantastic business. We haven't got an awful lot of money to spend this season, so we need to make sure we're spending it wisely and bringing in Denis Suárez. We give ourselves options in midfield, and we give ourselves options in attack. And the rest of the money that we save, like we said before, we can spend on defensive reinforcements. We're not really sure what's happening with Hatem Ben Arfa at the moment. That's gone a bit quiet. We don't know what's going to happen. That's going to drag on, I think, into the first weeks of the summer after the season finishes. But certainly this deal looks a lot closer to being done. Apparently Denis Suárez informed Marcelino ahead of this weekend's games that he would be leaving and that he would be rejoining Barcelona this season. Napoli and Tottenham were also reportedly interested in signing Denis Suárez, but of course we had that clause, 3.2 million, and when Barcelona come calling, you don't usually turn them down. I think it's going to be a really, really good addition. I think he's going to give us a lot, and I think he's also a player with a lot of potential and definitely room to improve and to become a better player, and there's really no limit for him because he's a player that can play wide. We've said about that. He's got brilliant close control, he's excellent on the ball, but I mean, he can get more goals, he can get more assists, and who knows where he could end up, because we've got a team that is aging at the moment. So certainly for these younger players coming into the team and players who maybe aren't as established as some of our older guys, they've got a real chance because they know that this team is getting on. We need to refresh the squad with young players. We need to start giving more responsibility to our younger players coming through the system, and Denis Suárez and Rafinha and Sergio Roberto and players like that really can take it by the horns next season and go for it, because next season is going to be a really, really big year for us. We're going to need every single player that we've got. Every single player in our squad will no doubt play a part. We're going to have about 50, 60 matches once again, so everybody's going to be tested physically and mentally, and it's important that we go into the season well stocked with players like this, and there's absolutely nothing wrong in re-signing Denis Suárez, putting him on the bench for a few games, playing him in the cup competitions, bringing him on in the last 20 minutes of games. We're going to give him game time over the course of the season. He will get game time. You've seen it with Munir this season. He will get those appearances. He will get a chance to show what he's made of, and I think Luis Enrique does like these sort of players. You saw with Luis Enrique, he really likes Rafinha. Denis Suárez isn't all that different to Rafinha. Rafinha too was deployed in the front three at the very start of the season before he got his injury. You remember against Sevilla, he played within the front three then. But I think really interesting, like you saw at the end of those clips there, was Denis Suárez' performance against us. That is the one performance where I really sat up and thought, you know what, we need this guy. He absolutely tore us apart at El Madrigal. We drew the game 2-2. Bakambu got the headlines, but it was really Denis Suárez in that game who operated on the right-hand side, but came centrally as well. And we just didn't know how to deal with him. He was getting in between the lines. He was really running riot on Sergio Busquets and Gerard Piqué, and we couldn't keep a hold on him. And I think in that game, he convinced everyone, Barcelona fans, Barcelona management, hierarchy, everybody, that we should be going for him this season, taking the gamble. And at 3.2 million euros, it's not really that much of a gamble. He's expected to sign on a 4-year deal with the option of a 5th year. It's going to be very interesting to see how it all turns out, how he develops, and how exactly we use him next season. But leave your thoughts down below, guys. How do you see the Denis Suárez signing going? What do you make of him going into the new season? And is this good business for us? 3.2 million, is it a good deal? I think so, but I want to hear your thoughts down below. So as always, guys, looking forward to hearing from you. Thanks as always for tuning in here. Another good video. I've enjoyed doing it and bringing you the latest updates on what we think is the first signing of the summer. It's going to be a busy one, so stay tuned here. I'll see you very soon. But until then, as always, Visca El Barça!